Did you know that a single misfiling of tax return can result in up to a $10,000 fine for American citizens? Imagine a tax system as complex as a Velcro strip, with millions of tiny hooks and loops, waiting to entangle unsuspecting taxpayers. The United States tax code is over 70,000 pages long, with more than 4 million words, making it one of the most convoluted in the world. But what if I told you that the majority of these pages are irrelevant to the average taxpayer? Velcro-like, the tax code has tiny hooks and loops that can catch even the most experienced filers off guard. For instance, did you know that the tax code has over 200 tax credits and deductions that can save you thousands of dollars? However, claiming these credits requires navigating a maze of paperwork and documentation, much like trying to untangle a bundle of Velcro strips. But that's not the strangest part. Many of these tax credits and deductions are hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to stumble upon them. It's like searching for a specific grain of sand on a beach. But instead of sand, you're searching through a sea of tax codes and regulations. To make matters worse, tax laws change frequently, leaving many taxpayers confused and disoriented, much like trying to keep track of a Velcro strip that's constantly shifting. But wait until you hear what comes next. The IRS has a special section dedicated to aggressive tax planning, which can lead to severe penalties and fines. This phenomenon occurs when taxpayers attempt to exploit loopholes and deductions that are not explicitly allowed by the tax code, much like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. In 1969, when humans first landed on the moon, the tax code was relatively simple, with only 26,000 pages of legislation. However, since then, the tax code has grown exponentially, much like a piece of Velcro that's been stretched to its limits. The tax code has become so complex that even the IRS struggles to keep up with the latest changes, much like trying to update a software program that's constantly evolving. To make matters worse, the tax code is written in a way that's inaccessible to the average taxpayer, much like trying to read a book written in a foreign language. But what if I told you that there are ways to navigate this complex system and avoid costly mistakes? For centuries, accountants and tax professionals have developed strategies to help taxpayers navigate the tax code, much like a guide who helps travelers navigate a dense forest. These strategies involve identifying key tax credits and deductions, much like finding a specific thread in a bundle of yarn. However, even with these strategies, taxpayers must remain vigilant and up-to-date on the latest tax laws, much like a sailor who must adjust their course to avoid treacherous waters. In this video, we'll explore the world of tax credits and deductions, and provide you with practical tips on how to navigate this complex system.
We'll delve into the history of the tax code and explore how it's evolved over time, much like a piece of Velcro that's been stretched and pulled in different directions.
We'll also examine the role of tax professionals and accountants who help taxpayers navigate this complex system, much like a guide who helps travelers find their way. So, if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed by the tax code and want to learn how to navigate this complex system, then keep watching. But before we dive in, let's take a step back and understand the basics of the tax code, much like a child learning to tie their shoes for the first time. The tax code is based on the concept of taxable income, which is the amount of money you earn minus certain deductions and exemptions. For instance, did you know that you can deduct up to $10,000 in mortgage interest from your taxable income? However, to claim this deduction, you must itemize your expenses on Schedule A, much like filling out a form to claim a tax credit. But wait until you hear what comes next. The tax code has a special section dedicated to miscellaneous itemized deductions, which can save you thousands of dollars. This phenomenon occurs when taxpayers itemize their expenses on Schedule A and claim deductions that are not explicitly allowed by the tax code, much like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. In this section, we'll explore the various tax credits and deductions that are available to taxpayers. Much like a map that guides travelers through a dense forest, we'll examine the different types of tax credits, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Tax Credit, and the Education Credits. We'll also explore the various tax deductions, such as the Mortgage Interest Deduction, the Charitable Contribution Deduction, and the Medical Expense Deduction. But that's not all. We'll also delve into the world of tax planning and explore strategies for minimizing taxes and maximizing refunds. For instance, did you know that you can use a tax loss harvesting strategy to offset capital gains and reduce your tax liability? However, this strategy requires careful planning and execution, much like navigating a complex maze. In the end, the key to navigating the tax code is to stay informed and up to date on the latest tax laws, much like a sailor who must adjust their course to avoid treacherous waters. By following the tips and strategies outlined in this video, you'll be well on your way to becoming a tax expert, much like a master navigator who can chart a course through even the most complex waters. So, if you're ready to take control of your taxes and avoid costly mistakes, then keep watching. But before we conclude, let's recap the key takeaways from this video. Much like a child learning to tie their shoes for the first time,
The tax code is complex and ever-changing, much like a piece of Velcro that's constantly shifting.
However, by staying informed and up to date on the latest tax laws, you can navigate this complex system and avoid costly mistakes. To recap, the key tax credits and deductions that we covered in this video include the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Tax Credit, the Education Credits, the Mortgage Interest Deduction, Contribution Much Deduction. We also explored the world of tax planning and discussed strategies for minimizing taxes and maximizing refunds. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to subscribe to our channel for more tax tips and strategies. And don't forget to like and comment below with any questions or feedback you may have. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.